Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth held a briefing on the war earlier today. He said the upcoming days in the war will be decisive. Here's what he had to say about the Strait of Hormuz.
There are many more vessels flowing through today than there were, as the president has arranged. The president's been clear to Iran, open it for business, or we have options, and we certainly do. The president was clear this morning in his truth that there are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most.
CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson was at that briefing earlier today, and she joins us now live. Good to see you today, Ellie. So can you take us through more of the Pentagon's messaging from earlier today?
The thing that struck me, Mugo, from the briefing was the secretary echoing President Trump's frustration that the Strait of Hormuz, now over 4 weeks into this conflict, essentially remains closed. The secretary there said more traffic is getting through, but when you speak to analysts, they say traffic is still down 90 to 95% from what it was before the war started. The president and the secretary both criticized NATO, specifically the UK, and you played that soundbite of Secretary Hegseth specifically calling out the British Royal Navy for not coming with their capabilities to help the U.S. Navy. The UK Prime Minister just yesterday said Great Britain would be willing to help once the conflict is over, not be drawn into it before. But the U.S. still hasn't really given a concrete time frame for when that may be. And today, again, Secretary Hegseth really didn't rule out putting ground forces into Iran. Let's listen to what he had to say.
We're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department. Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. But the point is to be unpredictable in that.
We should be clear that those ground forces, the ones already in the region and the ones on their way, would present options for not really a full-scale invasion, but more, think limited ground raids that are still risky. Think something like seizing an island in the Persian Gulf or securing Iran's southern coast to help reopen the strait, or potentially going deep inside Iranian territory to seize the highly enriched uranium. Those objectives are likely part of the negotiations the U.S. is trying to jumpstart with Iran right now. But those troops are still moving in to present military options if those talks fail.
Okay. Ellie Watson in Washington for us today. Thank you so much.